Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the State of the Athletic Department here at Hampton University. I'm Sean Robertson. Always a pleasure to be joined by the athletic director here at Hampton University, Anthony Henderson Sr. A lot to talk about, in this final edition of our calendar year.
Close the year out.
We're going to close it out with a bang. We're going to close it out with a bang, no question about it. And we're going to start with the big one, will be football season. Obviously, a difficult season for Hampton this year on the field, going winless in the CAA, and obviously making a change with the head coaching position. What is the latest with that situation, and will we have a decision made about who the new head coach will be?
Well, you're lucky. See, this is the benefit of you actually coming down to do the show.
There you go.
So we have made a decision. We are about to name our head coach. By the time this airs, it'll be named, but we're a day ahead of it. So tomorrow we're actually naming Van Malone, associate head coach at Kansas State. As we went through the process, Van kept rising to the top, just given his background, experience, Power 4 level, played in the NFL, multiple stops at the Power 4 level. His previous boss, Coach Kleiman, who just retired from Kansas State, was also the head coach at North Dakota State and won 7 national championships in the FCS. Yeah. So there are a lot of boxes that he checked. But we're excited. We're excited about him getting here. We're excited about the state of the program moving forward, and just ready to get started with the new era.
How big was his background coaching at a Power 4, his assistant stops at a Power 4 program, and also playing at a Power 4 program, I can say that right, at Texas, and also in the NFL?
Yeah, it was huge. As you may have noticed with me with our recent head coaching hires, especially in our high-profile sports, we wanted to elevate the profile of the university, one, and also elevate the department. So as we talk about moving forward and the types of coaches that we go after, we talked a little bit about it earlier when we were sitting down chatting a little bit. We swing for the fences and see if you're either going to hit a home run or you may strike out, but you never know unless you swing. So, as we were looking for what the profile looked like, what we were looking for, we started at that level, similar to what we did for basketball.
Right.
Going with, Ivan coming from high major, Tamisha coming from Power 4 level. So that's where we started with the football search, and luckily we ended up with a guy who fit and checked all the boxes that we were looking for.
Seemed like exciting times are expected for Coach Malone at Hampton University, and looking at that schedule, which is going to be fully released in mid-December, but by the time this airs, it'll be probably be already out. One game that probably stands out is the big revenue game you're going to have against Maryland and Coach Loxley up there in College Park.
Yeah, absolutely. And my former teammate who's on staff, assistant coach Latrell Scott.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I wanted to do when we came in. We always talk about the investment in football. Of course, the university is going to invest in football, but the reason you play these games is so you can reinvest that money back into the football program. So this will be the first time we've ever played a Power 4 opponent, and it won't be the last. We're scheduled Power 4 opponents out through the next 3 to 4 years. We had Maryland this year. Next year is Georgia Tech. Year after that is ODU, right across the bridge.
That's right.
And working on 2029 right now, which will be another game that will be not too far from here.
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. Not too far from here. Hopefully we get that contract signed here pretty soon. But we play those games so we can elevate the program. Right now in today's college football, it's all about revenue. So whether it's revenue to put in your operational budget, whether it's revenue to pay players, you need to generate more revenue. So those games are important to us as we move forward to be competitive and be successful in the CAA.
Now, you mentioned that next year's game against Maryland will be the first against a Power 4 in school history. Why now? Why start it now?
I don't know why we hadn't done it previously. Honestly, I just think it was a philosophy. And our philosophy as we came in, as we play CAA opponents, of course everybody's, well, why do you play those games? Why do you want to get guys hurt? Actually, our guys want to play those games.
Yeah.
Those are games they really get up for. They want to prove that they should have been recruited by those teams.
A little ego. You got a little ego.
I mean, so it's not one of those things like we're throwing our kids out to the wolves. They actually want to play these games. The only difference between, I think, Hampton and Maryland is depth.
Right.
So you talk about the ones playing the ones. it usually is pretty competitive, and when you start getting into your depth, is usually where it, starts to become a little bit problematic. But you play these games, one, like I said, for the revenue, but also to give your guys a chance to play on that stage. A lot of our guys have pro aspirations, so what better time to have really good film is against a Power 4 opponent. If you have those opportunities where scouts come to campus and they can take a look at how you performed against Maryland, how you performed against Georgia Tech, those games go a long way for these guys when they, look at their future aspirations.
It's hard to believe this is going into your third year as the athletic director here at Hampton University. How do you
actually completed my third year?
Completed the third year.
Yeah, I'd be 3 years in February. Wow. I'll be going in starting year 4 in March.
It's like a blur. It's like a blur. Your overall assessment of the program now to when you first took over, how different is it, or how much better is the program now?
I think it's night and day. Just from a coaching standpoint, I think across the board we've elevated our coaching staff. It's funny, the president and I were just talking about what number of coaches this is that we've hired. This is number 9 since I've been here. So 9 coaches in 3 years. It's pretty much a total, I won't say overhaul, but it's a total flip of what I inherited when I came here. And you look at the success of the programs and the gradual success that we've been having. Soccer won 5 games this year after winning none the year previous. So Scott's done a really good job with them. Volleyball didn't necessarily show up on the win-loss total, but they've been a lot more competitive. So, I think Ronaldo's heading in the right direction with volleyball. Our basketball programs, we were just talking about women's basketball, almost at the point where they've won as many games as they did the whole season last year.
And they look completely different. Like you said, night and day from last year to this year.
Men's basketball being selected 5th in the preseason poll. So I think when you look at the overall athletic department, we're headed in the right direction. We've been pretty lucky to hit on the right coaches, which is always a good thing. And administratively, the president and board of trustees have invested in the department, so we've been able to staff appropriately when it comes to whether it be marketing, compliance, academic areas. So that support for our student athletes, the sports medicine, sports performance areas, the support for our student athletes is there as well. So, we're becoming, I think, one of those departments we aspire to be. We still have more work to do, of course, but I think we're definitely on the right track.
And we're going to talk more about the men's basketball team and a big 2026 for them coming up, especially in February. We'll talk more about that in a few minutes. But I want to get your thoughts about indoor track and field. They've started off very, very well. Some great performances going into the new year.
Yeah, I think it was 12 PRs this weekend when they started indoor. So, they're our championship program. They won our first CAA title. Coach Pierce is determined to get another one, and I think they're on the right track. We had a CAA on our men's side, CAA track performer of the week this week. That program is, I hate to say something's on autopilot, but Coach Pierce has been here 26 years.
Yeah.
And he does it year in, year out.
You almost like you take your hands off of that, right?
He's probably one of the coaches that, unless he comes and asks for something, I just leave him alone, and he does his thing, which is good to have. On the women's side, we won the indoor. We probably could have won the outdoor last year. Panina doesn't get hurt during the 5,000 at the end of the track meet. So I expect them to be right there competing this year for indoor and outdoor this year. And I think the men are markedly better than they have been in the past. So really excited about track and field. Always excited about track and field. Like some other universities, they're one of our priority premier programs just because of the success they've had nationally and internationally based on the student athletes that Coach Pierce recruits. And, they go back and participate, whether it be in the Olympics for their countries and those type of things. So they bring added exposure for the university as well. So they're not your typical track team that you would think of when you talk about track and field.
He set a tremendous standard here at Hampton where it seemed like year after year, not only has the programs met that standard, sometimes they have exceeded his standard to a certain degree.
Yep, absolutely.
You mentioned about the changes you've made now as you go into now your 4th year as the AD. What has been the feedback from the student athletes as a whole with the changes, both with administration and also the coaches?
I think they're enjoying their experience a lot more. That's President Williams' motto, number one student experience in America. So we just add another word to it. It's the number one student athlete experience in America is what we try to do. So, As far as I'm getting from our student athletes, they love the direction we're headed in. They're getting things that they didn't get prior to me getting here. Like I said, the support in sports medicine, sports performance, those areas that affect everybody. We're having some really good success in those areas. Psychology. Von Shell Lewis does a phenomenal job with our student athletes from a mental health perspective.
Which has been big in recent years with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So just having those things from a support standpoint, the X's and O's in the field and courts are going to take care of themselves because that's what they're here for. It's the other things that I think we're doing a great job of and providing a great experience for those young people.
What would you like to accomplish still as the AD that you have not to this point?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it just goes back to winning more championships. I mean, we have one in indoor track and field. I want all of our programs to be, when the season starts, I want them all to feel like they have a chance to win a championship. That's pretty much the goal. So having our teams, when they begin their season, we have a shot mentally. We think we have a shot to actually compete for a CAA championship. When we get to that standard across the board, I think we've gotten where we need to be. I don't know if we're there yet, but we are approaching it, definitely.
We always got to talk about fundraising, money to improve and enhance the athletic department and the student athlete experiences. What have been some major wins with fundraising and NIL, corporate sponsorship, things of that nature?
I think the biggest win for us from a fundraising standpoint is just participation. We hired Mimi Hill from Georgia Southern, who's been doing a phenomenal job. So our Pirate Leadership Society, which is donors $25,000 and above, which you can break up over 5 years, so $5,000 a year over 5 years. We're at an all-time high of Pirate Leadership Society members. I think the last numbers I saw were about $2 million in commitments, and just from that group. So just actually getting out, telling the story, telling people why they need to invest, how they can invest. That piece of it, we've been doing a really good job of. We have a dinner by this Saturday for the Howard game. We got a dinner on Friday night. Last week while we were in Orlando for the women's tournament, our board of trustee member, Derek Lewis, hosted the women's basketball team at his house along with some folks down in Central Florida that have capability to actually help the program. So doing events like that, getting them exposure to our actual team so they can see and feel what they're supporting, that's been huge for us. So I think doing more of that will actually provide dividends. From a sponsorship standpoint, I think we're hitting numbers that we've never seen before from a sponsorship standpoint. Our goal for this year, I think, is around 1.8 million, and I think we're already close to that from an outside sales sponsorship standpoint. Season ticket sales, all those things, all those numbers are up. So, the more we can continue to do that and build upon that, the better we're going to be, because once again, it's about revenue.
That's right.
How we can reinvest it back into the program and back into the players and those type things. So can never have enough when it comes to those revenue streams.
We would be remiss if we didn't mention the women's basketball team winning the HBCU Hoops Invitational Tournament down in Florida. They have been rolling. And in recent weeks, we had talked about kind of like the culture has changed, the look has changed with Coach Augustin in her second year. And it seemed like the results have shown and followed what she wanted to do this offseason.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are 6 wins already, and they won 8 all last year. And we haven't even started conference play yet. So, I'm excited about the young ladies. They've been doing a really good job. They've been looking really good on the court. So, they're confident too. When you bring in, you talk about transition in teams, when you bring in 4 or 5 young ladies that have played at the Power 4 level, it changes the dynamic of the team. And but you also have to get them to play together. They all come from different programs.
And that's the biggest thing.
And getting them to actually mesh and meld and play together. Coach Augustin's been doing that. So I'm really excited about the rest of the season when we actually get into when it really matters in CAA play.
Absolutely. And for the men, I know the program and maybe not only the program, but the community involved, very excited about what's going to take place in February. The men's basketball team is part of All-Star Weekend. We'll be in Los Angeles playing North Carolina A&T conference game. We're going to take it out west as part of All-Star Weekend. You had the ceremony a few months ago down here. Ralph Sampson, Hall of Famer, was a part of that. how big a deal is this for the school as a whole, the program, yourself and the staff to be a part of All-Star Weekend playing one of your rivals in Los Angeles?
Well, it's huge. It's an international event. So, you don't get stages like that to play on very often. So to be able to expose people to not only Hampton Athletics and our men's basketball program, just the university at large, to be able to go out and play in LA, to give our young men an opportunity to pretty much be around the guys that they idolize and see all the time on TV. It's great. I mean, we're going to be out there for almost 4 or 5, almost 6 days. Between playing the game, actually going to the All-Star festivities, going to the All-Star game.
I was going to ask, would you be able to do all of that too?
So the team has access to the All-Star game on Sunday. Wow. We're going to take a red eye back right after the game because we still play that Thursday against Stony Brook. So trying to get back to make sure we stay in our schedule. But, it's an unbelievable opportunity. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing for the guys. So we wanted to make sure that we take every advantage of everything that's going to be provided. So it's going to be a good time.
Man, they could take that experience with them for the rest of their lives and say, we played on the court with the greatest players in the world on that weekend and get a chance to see them do their thing that weekend.
Absolutely.
It's going to be great. That's in mid-February, again, All-Star Weekend. Hampton and North Carolina A&T. That will be, I think, on TNT, I believe, or NBC. One of them.
So whatever the NBA.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the NBA.
It's all fractured.
They've all changed it up.
But it'll be on a national.
It will be on a
national stage, and like you say, an international opportunity for you guys. Before we talk about our last subject, I want to mention you mentioned fundraising and what we have above us.
Our new
jumbotron. I mean, we're in the Convo Center, and we hadn't even touched on it.
We've made some upgrades.
Yeah.
We made some upgrades. That was one of the things we talk about elevating our basketball program. Anybody that's been to the Convocation Center the last couple of years knew the one major upgrade that we needed to do was our video board operation. So fortunate enough, we found the funds at the university to get that done this year. And it's made a tremendous difference already just from a fan engagement standpoint for the few games we've had already. So I'm excited. I think, people come in that have been here previously. It's the first thing they notice when they walk in the door now. So it's been a huge addition. In addition to everything else, redoing the floor and all the other things. I think we're trying to espouse, we say we want to be a serious Division I basketball program. I think now we're putting our money where our mouth is and doing the things that we need to do to actually look like a Division I men's and women's basketball program.
So fans can expect, the new floor. They can see that. Also the new video board. What else can fans and also alumni expect from the athletic department in 2026?
Well, there's never a shortage of facilities projects. We got some things we still need to do. Football field needs to be replaced. Turf needs to be replaced. The track needs to be replaced. So we're hoping to hopefully get those done this summer. In time for next season. So those things are in the works right now. We're finishing up our facilities master plan. We have a company, Populous, that's working. And fortunately enough, and I've never been at a university where it's timed, it's synced up like this. The university is doing their university master plan, facilities master plan. And the president and Mr. Pompey, our senior VP for finance, allowed us to do a separate athletics facilities master plan that runs concurrent with the university master plan. So Populous is working with Clark Nexon on the master plan for the university. The athletics piece is going to be plugged into the overall university master plan, but it's going to help us tremendously. One, identify what we need, where it needs to go, how much it costs. So when we talk about fundraising, we talk about going and sitting down to people and talking about the importance of facilities. We actually have a plan and what we need to actually make these plans come to fruition. So I think that's the biggest piece is trying to get our facilities where they need to be. We got a few things that we need to do from a facility standpoint. Some things that we may look at adding from a facility standpoint, depending on what that master plan comes back with and tells us we need to do. But I think that's the biggest focus right now is trying to get our facilities up to par where we need to be. You talk about the student athlete experience. That's another piece of it. It's amazing what Coach Pierce does with the facilities we have from a track and field perspective. We haven't had a home track meet. I think it's been 4 or 5 years,
Always
maybe longer. Always on the road. Never actually have a home track meet. So those type things we need to rectify and fix.
And there's some events coming up in 2026. We touched on it real quick before we came on, the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
That would allow alums and also student athletes and the administration here to stay engaged with Hampton Athletics.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the voting or the ballot, the nomination process opens in January. So we ask everyone to, if you think there's someone deserving of being in the Hampton Athletics Hall of Fame, please send your nominations. That's one thing I hear all the time, especially when we release the current class. Well, such and such should be in, such and such should be in. Well, if you think they should be in, then please send the nomination so we can make that evaluation when we're making the determination. It's been pretty good over the last 2 years. We kind of changed the process. We have a nomination or a voting committee. It's about 7 or 8 folks. Coach Taylor's on it, and some of our other Hall of Famers are on it. So it's not just us sitting in the back room picking somebody. We actually have a process that we select. If you're nominated, you stay on the ballot for, I think it's 5 years until you fall off and have to be renominated again. So everybody that was nominated last year that didn't make it, they're still on the ballot and they can be voted for just depending on what the other nominations come in. So the process has worked pretty well. I think we've gotten it right the last 2 years as far as who's gone in to the Hall of Fame.
Last year's class was really, really good. I know Jerome and I know Kelly and their success here at Hampton was worthy of
3 Olympians that went into last year's class. So, it's amazing they weren't in already. But
they're in now.
But that shows the process is working. So get your nominations in, and then we'll definitely address those when I think it ends. You got 4 months. I think it's January to April that you can get your nominations in, and then we go through the selection process. And the Hall of Fame is always the first football game, alumni weekend, first football home weekend. So that's the biggest way that we can get folks engaged and making sure we're doing things right and putting the right people in.
And we'll talk more about that the next time we get together in 2026. This is fun. This has been fun. We'll do it again.
It always goes by so quick.
I know. We have all of these topics and we can get them all in. And then before you know it, it's like, boom, we'll do it again sometime in late March before Final Four.
Yep, absolutely.
Sounds good.
Absolutely.
Always a pleasure. Happy holidays to you and the family. And happy holidays to you and yours for watching. And again, we will get together in late March, early April to talk about what took place in basketball season and get ready for the spring and also with the fall with the new head football coach as he gets ready for his first season here at Hampton University. For everybody associated here at Hampton, I'm Sean Robertson. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you again in 2026.